Hi, this is KIFS Crypto, and I'm here to present to you our latest project review. Now, we do it very differently on this channel, just in the sense we like to put a positive lens on and analyze a coin, remove that positive lens, that positive bias, and put a negative bias on and analyze the coin. And what this does is it gives you an overall view of the project or coin. And when that ends, we like to basically give our own personalized opinion on how we see the project. So what this does is, by putting two biases on from each end, from a positive perspective and negative perspective, we feel that it removes the bias. It counteracts and it removes the bias. So it's nice to see it from both lenses. And I think it's very important because this further educates you on how to look at the crypto space and how to see it without jumping in too quickly. So that's why I urge you, and I cannot stress this enough, to watch the video till the end. Otherwise, you will be getting one bias and not the other. You'll be getting the positive bias, which is what I'm starting with, and not the negative. So it's very nice to see it through to the end so that you can make a generalized and get a generalized feel of what the project is doing. And then after that, my own personal opinion on how I see the coin. I'm presenting to you a recent project which is called Acquire.Fi. I'm going to do a deep dive into Acquire.Fi. So Acquire.Fi is the first crypto M&A platform. To understand what M&A is simply the ownership of companies being bought or sold. This effectively allows you to buy and sell different crypto companies, even in a fractionalized manner, making it accessible for everyone to buy. So if you didn't understand that, think of it as like Indeed, or you have these real estate websites, and they have listings of properties and that kind of stuff. So in this way, what Acquire.Fi is, it's basically like a website, a database, a lot more complex than a database, but just to kind of understand it, to materialize the idea, it allows you to buy and sell crypto companies and companies also of a traditional sense, and it brings that to the Web3 space. In 2021, the crypto M&A volume passed 6 billion. The visionary Acquire.Fi founders saw the opportunity to be the first movers in bringing the critical piece of financial infrastructure to Web3. Web3 and blockchain technology allow Acquire.Fi, pay attention to this, to usher in a new era of M&A that is inclusive of more investors and brings all of the benefits of DeFi to quite a traditional, what was once a traditional process. CEO and co-founder Jan Strandberg. With Jan's visionary leadership, Ken Mack's 16 years of traditional M&A dominance, and Marina's legal expertise, the team started building. While building the M&A marketplace, the idea for investment pools also began. The team wanted to give retail investors access to the same opportunities as large buyers who will often spend 7 or 8 or 9 figures to purchase one whole business. Since then, the team has expanded and never looked back. Seed round investment was secured, and both the M&A marketplace, MVP, and ACQ token are on schedule to launch by Q4. So note that down in your diaries, Q4. Inclusive investing. Today, in 2022, investing in luxury goods high-end real estate, and high revenue businesses are reserved for accredited investors, hedge funds, and big players. Retail investors are limited to speculating on high-risk investments like meme coins and NFTs. Most high yield returns in the crypto space are not sustainable, as the market discovered in brutal fashion after billions of dollars worth of value evaporated, in the Anchor protocol yielding 20% after the Luna UST crash. Do you remember when that happened? The era of real yield is just beginning. The time has come for real-world revenue streams from real-world businesses and real-world assets to be put on-chain and more accessible to everyone. Before your head and my heads get very fuzzy when it comes to looking at numbers and tokenomics, so take a deep breath before we dive into looking at these numbers. I tend to have coffee before I do that, so you gotta wish me luck, and drop a comment in the description to let me know if when you're looking at numbers or when you're analyzing coins, do you drink coffee? What do you do? What's your mental ritual before you go in? So let's dive in. Let's open up the tokenomics of Acquire.Fi. Hopping into the numbers, let's look at the token allocations for Acquire.Fi. The advisors get 3%, the team gets 8.5%, the angel investors get 2.5%, the seed investors get 6.5%, private sale 11.5%, the second private sale gets 6%, the public gets 2%, liquidity, which you have to keep in mind, is 10%, community at 15%, treasury at 30%, and marketing at 8.5%. Moving into the distribution of funds. Now, bear in mind, the distribution of funds are at 3,567,000, and they've allocated it and diversified it in a really good way. So you got legal at $357,000 allocated, and you got liquidity and exchanges, marketing, technology and development at the same amount of $642,000. Then you got hiring and salaries, which is, as you can see, far on the other end at $1,284,000. Acquire.Fi is where investing and Web3 intersect. And what I mean by that is it's creating a new wealth building paradigm for all. So there's two products in Acquire.Fi which are intricately linked. And the first product is, as I mentioned before, the M&A marketplace. Now, this is what the preview of the M&A marketplace looks like. The second being investment pools. Now, to understand that, investment pools will allow retail investors to access fractionalized ownership over Web3 companies, traditional businesses, and real world assets. A new era of real yield is coming to crypto with projects like Centrifuge and Acquire.Fi. Acquire.Fi is putting sustainable APY from real world revenue earning businesses on chain and available to everyone. Forget inflationary tokens, printing, staking awards. Access stable dividend returns from real world factories, schools, and Web2 profit earning businesses. Let's dive more into the platform. And what I really like about the platform is they have vetted deals, as you can see, where they conduct pre-listing Web3 due diligence. They have investment pools. So you can build a portfolio of acquisitions through crowdfunding and fractional ownership, as mentioned before. You have exclusive M&A opportunities. Now, what that basically means is you get a backstage pass to unpublished deals on their investor matchmaking service, but that's for top tier holders. I really like that incentive. I like that they've added that incentive to their system. Another thing I really like is the Web3 business valuation services. Because what happens is then when you have a crypto company and you want to buy it or you want to sell it, mainly when you want to sell it, this place becomes the one-stop shop to do that, because knowing from experience, valuating a tokenized company is extremely difficult. And the fact that they already have a legal team in place to do that, they have legal resources, they have an M&A expertise, as mentioned earlier with the team. So let's look at the acquire pool features. Now, you could have $100 in your pocket, you could have 100 million. There's no limit on ticket sizes. And what I mean by that is it's inclusive investing to all, in the sense that investment pools and crowdfunding plus asset digitalization, these three things, and asset digitalization is basically NFTing, making NFTs out of different products, different services. This creates fractionalized investing. This allows you to invest with $100 in your pocket or 100 million to buy a portion of a company or a product or real world assets as well, in the sense that it benefits all investors. And I like how they've innovatively used NFTs to do that. Another thing I like about this is the fact that it brings real world assets into crypto, like schools, farms, different businesses, traditional businesses, and it also brings real world products like Rolexes and Ferraris and different sort of goods, luxury goods that you could use. It also has sustainable yields, and it also has revenue earning businesses. So looking at the ACQ token, it's a utility token that IDO will be coming soon. It'll launch as a microcap, and when you stake your ACQ, you get exclusive access to investment pool benefits, crypto M&A deal flow benefits, and there's so many more benefits. So it has a lot of use cases. It's tied very much into the platform itself. It functions within the platform, cannot function without it. To increase value for ACQ holders, the team will look to implement buybacks, token burning, increasing staking rewards, and more. The community can also be rewarded for playing a role in supporting the protocol with due diligence. So it has so many features tied into that coin. It creates a lot of utility for it. Another thing I like about it is that it gives a lot of incentive to people who hold the ACQ token. I cannot stress this enough. We have gone through the euphoria of the positive perspective, and I've been so biased that now I gotta take the lens off. I see that the lens is very foggy and is much like a newbie investor looking into a coin and looking at only the positives. I throw that in the bin. Now I put the negative. Whew, wow, I can feel the pessimism already. So, when we critically look at the coin, a few red flags. Firstly, it's in the website. Now, the source of the project is the website. What I mean by that is you're effectively buying and selling websites, crypto websites and crypto projects and crypto companies effectively on the website itself. Here, what I find quite strange is the fact that the source is the website, and I don't find the website strong enough. If you look over here to this side and you click on the website and you click on docs, which is documents, on top you'll see that it's quite blurry, and I feel like the UX design and the website is not up to mark. Now, if the project's main concern and main usage is the website and how you buy and sell on the website, why isn't the website up to mark? That's something that gives me a strong red flag. Second, there's no clear-cut white paper. I cannot stress how important it is to have a clear-cut white paper. So that was something that made me feel a bit iffy. Third, what I feel is like if they invested more time into a strong website, and then I could see a lot more traction coming into the project. Now, in terms of use case, have you ever heard that thing where it sounds good on paper, but when it actually comes into fruition, it doesn't really pan out? How many times have you had an idea and you're thinking, oh, this is amazing, and you bash it out with a friend and he just doesn't like it? Or, people don't take traction to it. That's the big risk with this project. Like, the idea sounds amazing. However, it's all on paper. The tokenomics, the use case, the AQT token that's going to be launched. Sorry, the ACQ token that's going to be launched. It's all on paper. It's all in the pipeline. Not to say that it won't happen, but because it hasn't happened yet, it's hard for me to invest in something that's just an idea. And an idea that does not have its website in place. So that was another thing that kind of put me on the sidelines. Now, another thing that I found very iffy is the language used, the jargon. So it was very, very complicated language used. And I was thinking, I was like, my first thought when I just looked at the language was, it's so complex to understand a relatively simple concept, right? Concept's really simple. From point A to point B, it's very direct, the initiative. However, they've complicated the language. Now, usually I find that in a lot of projects where they don't want you to understand, or they want to feel like, they know the space and they want to prove, they complicate the jargon and they make the language so complicated that even someone who has been in this space for a while finds it quite tricky to understand. And that for me is another strong red flag. And another thing is, I looked at the partnerships of the project and I found unfamiliarity with the partnerships. I didn't find partnerships that I would find in other projects. Not just that, but the partnerships in general, I feel like they were unheard of, according to me. I didn't hear from any of the partnerships. They could be strong, they could be weak, but I've not heard from them. So I couldn't find one strong partner that I can be like, CoinMarketCap is a part of this, or Binance, or something with a strong key point. So that's something again that caused a lot of red flags in my head started popping up. Another thing is, and I cannot stress this enough, how it sounds versus how it is. When you're new to crypto, a lot of it sounds like candy floss, you go in and you're like, whoa, this is great, and you jump into the hype and then you lose all your money and you're like, oh, I hate crypto. So before you do that, because we here on KIFS Crypto, we can't stress this enough. We want to make this more of an inclusive space. We want to get more people into crypto because that's the whole point. It's a community-driven initiative. So when you look at, a good way to look at this is, Cardano, which is a very strong concept and a very, very, very strong project, right? With a strong community, millions in funding, and a strong team behind it. And I can't stress enough, the strong team behind Cardano. However, last year during the Alonso hard fork, what actually happened was, effectively after it launched, it became a ghost town. So there was no clear use case because no projects were building on it because it didn't have the capacity to hold so many projects. So a lot of projects could not build. So effectively, Cardano became a ghost town and it had no use case up until I think the new launch that's coming up this month, which is the Vassal hard fork, something to look into. And because of that, it kind of formulated an opinion in my head where I was like, Cardano sounded good, it had a strong team behind it, but when it came to action, there was a lot of flaws, and so effectively it was a ghost town. It was a tumbleweed moment on the Cardano blockchain. So that's another thing to keep in mind. When it happens and I can see it, and I can see for this Acquire.Fi project, I can see things building on it, and I can see a lot of strong use case. I can see companies on it buying and selling. That's maybe when I would get in. And that's my personal opinion on this, that I would stay on the sidelines until I can actually see words and sounds turning into action. And that would be my lesson to you if you're new to the crypto space. Everything sounds nice till you get eaten up. And I cannot stress that enough. I don't know how many times I've said cannot stress that enough. But it's a stressful space, but exciting space. So stay tuned.